All right,
Good idea.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to technically the first ever episode of Monster School. I am Monster, and this is.
Mama tax?
And today we are talking about vampires. Now, what's cool about vampires, in my opinion, is the fact that they're almost like a superhero almost, but not helping people. Obviously, they're kind of sucking them dry. But they're on this
Yeah.
pedestal with like
Oh
obviously
yeah.
werewolves, zombies, things like that. They all have different tiers, but for some reason, vampires have always been top tier because of I don't know,
The
like
apex
this.
predator.
Right, the apex predator, but they're like they're not just a werewolf. We're gonna add a bit of this little hint of sex appeal to them to make them seem like extra like
Well, how else
smooth.
do you trap them in?
Right, exactly
Like
that.
streamers! Dude, that's actually kind of relevant though. Think about it. You can
Yeah,
get more
let's bring
views
it
if
back.
you had more sex appeal. If you're a vampire, you're gonna get more nom noms if you got more sex appeal.
That's
Sex
true.
sells.
It's true. Sex sells. All right, guys, thanks for coming in.
GG's, we're done. Alright.
All right, so let's talk about. Let's start with a fun question.
Okay.
How do vampires shapeshift into bats? I've always wondered this.
That's a great question,
Right?
actually.
Because if it's
Yeah.
magic, they have to know magic, which they technically don't really by their
Do they?
definition.
Don't they though? Really?
I don't think they
Because like
do.
they can hypnotize, which would be a form of magic. Shapeshift is a form of magic. Some of them can fly without the shapeshifting part, which is magic. Like they're kind of like blood-sucking witches.
Yeah, kind of. So I guess if there's ability called shapeshift, but it's one of those things where it's like I kind of want to hit like, is it poof? They're a bat, or is it shapeshift where it's like if you hit slow mo, they're like into this tiny little thing? Because that doesn't seem believable. The poof does, but it's like I want somebody to describe the poof because I've seen like
Hmm.
hundreds of vampire movies. Never once did they describe the transition
What if it's
between the
kind
two.
of similar to oh crap, where's my brain going? Okay, so space travel, right? If you were to
Continue.
I'm sorry, my brain is like I'm trying to like figure out how to say it. If you were to travel very quickly to another place, right? Like light speed,
Yes.
your body would break down into particles. You would no longer have this. It would literally just be like dust, you know? And then you would get to the location and you would have to like reassemble because you would be moving so fast there it'd be impossible to stay in mass.
So you're saying it could be
So
speed,
so it's kind of like your body breaks down into particles and
and they reassemble it.
reassembles into a bat.
And the
Yeah.
poof is them basically
So the poof is
deconstructing and
literally
reconstructing.
your body just going poof. It's
I like that.
about all I can come up with as
No,
far as my
yeah, I took it as fact in my head. I'm like,
goes.
okay, no, that works. That works. Because they only shown in films with a silhouette or a shadow, where it's like the morph,
Yeah.
which is
Well, like,
cool.
and not all of them turn into bats though.
True.
That one's kind of the hardest part of the whole like vampire thing. Is one of the harder things to believe is that
Yeah.
you could turn into a bat. You
One
know.
of my underrated, which I'm not going to say yet, the vampire actually turns into a werewolf / dog. I don't think you're going to get it. You might. All right. Let's talk about. Okay, so you haven't seen the Twilight, friend. No, you're not going to get it. Trust me. You might.
Time to get triggered. Hold up, let
Alright.
me roll up my
I know.
sleeves. Fucking
Yeah,
Twilight.
I know. This is an argument. So, have you seen any of the Twilight movies?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Okay, Ghost Rider.
I literally okay. So all right, before it became a movie, before it got all the hype, I bought Twilight the book.
Mhm.
I'm a huge book nerd. I was a big book nerd. I can't really say that anymore. I haven't continued reading a lot over the years. But I was looking for another vampire series and I found Twilight. It was a newer release and I was like, "Oh, what's this? It's a vampire book. Cool. Brought it home. I literally read 16 pages and threw the book away. I was so pissed off.
That was me
I was
with
like,
the
this is
movie.
not what I'm looking for."
Yeah, I saw the first one. I think I saw half of the second one. It just they play baseball in one scene. It's like the writing's awful. It's pretty much goes against everything. The way they keep their skin from burning in the sunlight is lotion. And if you think about that, the continuity issues with that presumably the area within the skull, like the areas of light that it could hit that's not covered by lotion. It's not a good movie. There's bad effects, bad storyline. I'm pretty sure it was a knockoff of, what was it, 50 Shades? No, 50 Shades of Grey was a knockoff of Twilight.
Was it? I didn't
Um,
watch that either.
I wanted to be a fan. I was in high school when it came out. It was like sophomore year. I was watching Underworld with Selena Kyle. Not Selena. No, it's Cat.
Yeah.
Celine, right? Yeah. And they said, "Hey, you like vampires a lot?" I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking love the Underworld franchise." They're like, "You should look at Twilight." Saw the trailer and I was like, "I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna watch this." Right. But then they
Fucking
started saying
sparkling
Teen
vampires.
Edward
What
and
a
Teen
blasphemy.
Jacob. People were walking around with Jacob and Edward on there the entire time. So 4 years after the release of it, I was like, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to completely be unbiased. I'm going to treat it like a film, and I will judge it accordingly. This thing is such trash. Like, the fact that there was such a huge fan following over something so not well done. It's just like, it's not that it could be well done, but there's stuff in it where you're like, that makes no sense. Like,
Well, again, sex sells. You put a buff enough dude with no
right.
shirt and fucking sparkles.
And then a horny girl over here. Yeah, that was
Well,
the part.
okay,
Thank you.
how about the fact that he was like, what, 200 or some shit, and she's like
She was
16?
Like 16. Yeah. But I like it when he's like, that moment, I almost flipped because I thought it was the redeeming factor of the monster. He's like, you won't like me. And I'm like, oh, he's going to reveal it.
I know, right?
He's like, I'm a monster. And he's like, sparkling in the light. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like, no, that's a fucking fae. Okay, that is not a vampire. That's a pixie. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, what are you doing? Go back to friggin', what is it, Pixie
I think
Hollow.
you're confused. Honestly, I probably could have respected the storyline more if it were about fairies or fallen angels or literally anything else. But not vampires, man.
It makes no sense. All right, so we're gonna get into. Oh yes, yes. Oh, I just got goosebumps. I just got my nipples. I'm like goosebumps. So, the history of Dracula. So, this is huge for me. So, my favorite, obviously, I brought him down from my collector's den.
Oh, I love him.
It's my baby little Bela Lugosi walking down the stairs.
I have a Dracula's pub sign. I need to find it. Damn, that would have been perfect for this.
Yeah, we'll do another. We have many episodes. We'll do like a
we'll do more vampires in the future.
Triumphant. Like, yeah. I'll say this before I get into Bela Lugosi's. Nosferatu is phenomenal. He's the OG. Whenever there's a moment to introduce what cinema is, especially horror cinema, to youngsters and how it should be done, how it should be shot, Nosferatu is phenomenal. Just the rising and the effects. And, it's everything. The hands. And we're going to talk about it later, but Shadow of the Vampire with William Dafoe.
Yes.
You've seen it, right?
No.
No!
Okay, well, yes, but it's...
You can't... Did you just do that? What?
Well, I can't say that I remember everything.
It's the one where William Dafoe is Nosferatu. Like, you know how they shot the movie Nosferatu?
Yes.
Now, pretend the filmmaker, they're breaking the fourth wall here, is shooting a real vampire. Like, in the movie, Nosferatu is real, and he's trying to conduct a real vampire, and that vampire, Nosferatu, is played by William Dafoe. So that once you watch this movie, Shadow of the Vampire, when you go back and watch Nosferatu, it's even cooler because you're like, that's a real vampire he was shooting. Like, they make this loop between the two.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
We need to watch it. It's really well
It wasn't free on any of my services last night because I was going to try to watch it again, but I was like, fuck.
It's all good. It's all good. It's just so worth watching because it puts a new
I have it on
it.
DVD. I just need a DVD
I have it on
player.
DVD too. That's how I watched it. I went downstairs and I had this little catalog. And I was like, Shadow of the Vampire. But it's so worth watching because when you revisit the original Nosferatu, you're like, this filmmaker was filming a real vampire in real life. And then it cuts to them like when he's like, cut. You follow William Dafoe as Nosferatu and he's just lost and stuff. It's so cool. But no, Dracula. So, did you see last night, because I ended up falling asleep, House Horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee?
Did I? I don't think I could watch that one either. It was another one I had to pay for, and I was like, I'm not trying to spend
Good point.
money.
I think I paid for it. Yeah,
Sorry.
No, it's good. We got plenty. But
we watched Vampire, the silent film, the mostly silent film with the Y.
Yeah.
Vampire, yes.
That's a good one.
I think that's the one that got me in trouble with No, not that one.
It
It was the one
could have
after
been
that, which was I think it was the son of Dracula or some shit like that. And I was
one of
like,
them.
"Ooh,
One of the early
we have to
ones.
stop."
Yeah, it's a bit rough.
Mhm.
But the Christopher Lee is like renowned as Dracula.
Yeah.
I didn't like him. I thought he was like the worst vampire Dracula I've ever seen, and I don't know. Like I watched him, and he just looks like you were expecting. I was expecting Christopher Lee's voice, but he's so young,
Right.
it hasn't been developed yet. So it's just like this weird like mix match. The only thing
He wasn't in
redeeming
his prime yet.
about that movie where I'm like, this guy killed it. Like it looked like he was acting
Oh.
today was Peter Cushing as Van Helsing. He nailed it and ate
Okay.
up the scene. And he like phenomenal. But
Hmm.
besides that, I'll just do Bela Lugosi now because I'm so excited.
I know you love Bela Lugosi. I do too. No, I'm not hating at all. I agree. He's great.
Bela Lugosi, in my opinion, it kind of reinvented the game in terms of like Dracula because it's the same story pretty much over and over with Lucy and all that, just different adaptations. Man, when he walks down those steps and it's like just the way he does his voice and the way he carries himself and the come here, like the way he stretches things out, it's so romantic and poetic the way he does it. That it's that form that we were talking about before where it's angelic meets demonic, where it's like this is something evil, but the way it's luring you in, where it's like, oh, these children of the night, what music they make, and you're like, whoa,
yeah, like I'm not afraid at all. You know, I'm very comforting. You know, you're safe.
Everything about that movie, I love. Like I sit down and I just know it's going to be like a fun trip. Some of the actors I'm not too huge on, but Bela Lugosi, like he just destroys it for me, and he was pretty much the start of the monster genre in terms of like he makes a cameo in Werewolf, I believe, as the psychic, the gypsy trader or whatever, and they all become their own little Marvel universe almost, where it's like they're all
kind of
intertwined.
It is a lot like that.
Right. But no, I love him to death. He'll always be my favorite Dracula. I haven't seen one to replace him.
No.
To my knowledge, like it's that debonair attitude, and like everybody does like, hey, do Dracula, they all do blah, like they do that accent.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
do not say blah blah blah.
We do not go blah blah blah. That was good. He's on my top 5 too. The Adam Sandler animated one. He was cool because it was an homage. That's what it was. It was like,
it's cool because like me, I got a daughter, you know, and we did something that I can watch and enjoy it, and she can watch and enjoy it, where I'm not just tolerating it. You know, I'm like, this is a fun movie.
Because it's cool too, because it's the introduction, Just Waiting for Vampires, where it's like you open up Hotel Transylvania, you're like,
well, not
holy
just
shit, that's
that.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Everybody's in it.
Right.
Everyone's
Blob.
accounted for. Even the Mummy. I'm like, yo, this is phenomenal.
I agree.
It's like the perfect introduction to toddler horror.
What do you have to say about the many Draculas are out there? Because those are the two that I love. I love Nosferatu and Bela Lugosi. Everyone else, kind of a side note.
I agree. Everyone else is a side note. Yeah, for sure. Like, none of them are iconic to me, like the others. I feel like maybe because everyone started trying to direct a Dracula movie, didn't actually try to really rewrite the script. It was just kind of the same script over and over. A more relevant actor, which is what murdered it. So like, a lot of them were very hard for me to get into. I was like, okay, I know the story, so we're just doing this.
Yeah, we're just doing it again.
Like we're doing a knockoff
like when they
version
remade live
of
action Beauty and the Beast. You're like, I know what's gonna happen.
You know? Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Fun fact though, not a lot of people know this, but on Dracula, when they were filming the Bela Lugosi one, they had a Mexican film crew behind them, because the Mexican film crew wanted to shoot a Mexican version of the Dracula they were making. So as soon as the actor called cut, the Mexican director said, roll it. And he brought his Mexican actors on, and they did their version of what Bela Lugosi just did. So if you I love
that.
Yeah, if you put the Bela Lugosi one right next to the Mexican version, it's the same thing, but the Mexican one's slightly riskier because there was no MPAA rating in Mexico. So there's more skin, there's more this and that, verbal language, all that. I want to watch that. Right, and it's exactly the same. And it was so cool. They're like, cut, and he's like, adios. I love that. They're like, what?
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Because, like, you know, a lot of artists, they get very territorial.
Yeah.
And so it's very cool that he was willing
Universal
to
was just like,
to make that happen.
Yeah.
Because think about it. There wasn't I think I could be wrong. I don't know if it's just Spanish, but I feel like it was a Mexican film. Was the Pan's Labyrinth remake?
There was a
The
Pan's
Labyrinth. It
Labyrinth
was,
remake?
bro. The Labyrinth.
It was called The Labyrinth?
The Labyrinth, and it's completely in Spanish, and it is one of my favorite movies. It was the first
gonna
one to
watch
get
that.
a global award
And it's a
that
remake.
wasn't in English.
It's a remake
Okay, it's
of
okay.
Pan's Labyrinth. Because Pan's Labyrinth wasn't English either. That was Spanish.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But what is it? Is it like reinventing
This
it in
one's
some way?
much darker.
Okay,
It has
cool.
one of my
That's all I
favorite
need.
monsters in it. Oh my god, I can't wait for you to watch it. Oh,
I'm excited.
oh.
I'll watch
It's
it
the
tonight. I'll
one
watch
you
it
might
after we're
see a GIF every once in a while where there's this thing at a table. It's filled with all these wonderful foods and fruits and
Yeah,
just
like
deliciousness.
the ogre guy.
And yes, he does that, and he's got the eyes in his hand.
But
I love that
that's
guy.
not Pan's Labyrinth.
That's the Labyrinth.
No, Pan's
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth has the ogre guy with the eyes.
Dude, the new one. The new one.
They both have the same character?
Well, newer one. I guess it's been a few years.
You are
But still, there was
confusing me.
Pan's Labyrinth, and then there's Labyrinth.
And they both have an ogre with a feast that has the eyes in the hands.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out.
Oh my god,
Check it
it's
out.
so good! Ow, I can't wait for you to experience it.
I will. I promise you I'll do it today.
It's
The
really like,
Labyrinth.
be prepared because your emotions are gonna get fucked with hardcore, which is what makes it such a great film. Like, they really nailed it.
They got messed with like Pan's Labyrinth too, like with the knife in the mouth. Remember that? The mother? Okay, you're smiling. Okay, I'll watch it. You're like, you have no idea how many
Something's
nightmares.
fucked up? Yeah, I know it.
Oh, it's adorable. You still think that's fucked up. That's so cute. All right. Ooh, all right. The Underworld franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the thing.
It got a lot of hate.
Yeah. I love the first three. I thought Underworld was phenomenal, groundbreaking. I mean, everybody was talking about it. I wasn't even allowed to see it when I was a kid because
Oh my god.
just like the poster or so, I don't know, something about it seemed like, I forget what it was. But eventually I ended up seeing it. Like, and it wasn't that late. It was like maybe 13 years old, 14 years old. Yeah, Celine. Like, never, but when you talk about, when you talk about adding sensuality to a vampire, they're like,
But her man's is hot too, though. That mixed breed of the vampire werewolf, like, hey, what?
That's the thing. They did something new. It was the story of Dracula,
awesome.
But it was also the story of Romeo and Juliet, like
Yes.
intertwined with each other, but done correctly.
But it kind of also like dances along because you got to remember when the movie came out, we weren't as woke as we are now. There was a lot of stigma on mixed breeding. So if you were with someone that didn't quite look like you got the looks, you know. So this movie came out and it pushed that too. You just didn't realize that was what you were watching. So it's kind of cool because you got to see like,
so it's making it more socially acceptable in the real world.
Like you're gonna get used to it or get fucked.
Right. Yeah. No, it was a solid film. The whole film's solid all around. I love it. The second one, I don't really remember. I know they're just hunting one of the fathers of the vampires. Third one I thought was dope. That was Rise of the Lycans, which again is a testament to like slavery, where it's like, what did he say? Lucius said, "We can be slaves or we can be like it." And like it's like a rebellion. And the guy, who's the guy that plays the old man, the old vampire?
Oh, what's his name?
He does the voice of Captain Jacks.
Yes.
No, not Jack Sparrow. The other guy. David Jones. No, is it Davy Jones? Yes, Davy Jones.
No. Is it?
I think it's Davy Jones, the octopus guy.
No.
Yeah, those are the same people.
No way. Oh my god. I think you're right. I was thinking Bill Nye. 90. He was the dad in like the first one. Her like, dad.
Right. No, that's who I was thinking about. Bill Nye, he does the voice of Davy Jones, the octopus guy.
No way.
Yes, he does.
Really? Oh my god, he does! Oh, my brain is fucked right now.
Because whenever I listen to him, it's like Captain Jack Sparrow. I just think of Underworld. It's like Celine.
Oh man.
The vampire coven.
I like the way he talks, though. It does make him like that classic, iconic actor that we don't see anymore. You know,
where it's like he's just like
he really landed that shit.
Yeah, I like that one. Like it's a reverse love story of the first one, where it's like you know the guy's trying to free the woman who's the vampire this time, as opposed to the vampire trying to free the Lycan.
Yes.
But no,
I can't
overall,
believe that really got a lot of hate though. Like it really surprised me because I think it was done very well. I like the path that they took with it, and a lot of people were so mad about it. And I was like, "What do you want another Dracula? Like, come on!"
yeah. Well, you can tell because they did hold back on the action. I remember that was like the first one. Like they had the underground tram station where they're shooting guns. It was very Matrix oriented, where it's like
It was very Matrixy.
and then they're like, we're
Speaking
gonna
of
soften
Matrixy,
it, right? then we're gonna soften it up a bit. But no, I think the first one, the best moment, I don't know why, but it's the first 10 seconds where she jumps off that building and she just walks off like it's nothing, and you're like,
like it
oh
ain't.
my gosh.
Honestly, you know what? My favorite, like, it's very subtle, and it no one else probably gives a shit. But the way they keep the vampires underground, oh, I love that. With
Yeah.
like everything unlocks with the I was really big into steampunk for a
Yeah.
long time. So the whole like idea of the mechanism, like the gears shifting and everything, and releasing it, the whole act of releasing them was like
Yeah.
so cool. I was like, nice. You're switching it up from the classic coffin, you know?
Yeah. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a good point too. The switch up, like it's not a coffin
Mhm.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah. After that, I think I saw a couple of them. Like there's like 6 now, but I
Oh
didn't
my
really.
god, is there? I stopped
There's a
watching.
lot.
I gotta be
Like
honest.
she has a daughter, and the daughter needs to. It just
Oh
gets a
dear.
bit too.
See, I can't. I see three's my max, and there's not a lot you can
Trilogy.
do after
That's
that
all
to
we need.
keep my attention. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just milking
Because
the
you're
industry
risking
at
the
that
dip.
point.
Because you're.
Yeah, don't ruin
Yeah.
it for me. And that's what they do. They ruin it for me.
Yeah. But it makes some money, so same with the Twitch thing.
Mhm.
Makes some money, so they gotta keep doing it, despite whether
Yes.
it's creative or not.
I know.
All
Wah,
right.
wah.
Next is the. Have you seen all the original Blade, the original 3?
Okay. I know I did, but I don't remember the third one.
You
for
don't
sure.
remember the third one? That's my
I
favorite
don't remember the
one.
third one.
That's where he
Shit.
fights Dracula.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds is in it. Jessica Biel is in it.
What?
Then at the very
How
end,
have I not seen
Wesley
this? Hold
Snipes
on.
as Blade fights Dracula.
That
who
was
turns into
another movie I
giant
was having a
vampire
hard
bat.
time finding. I could find Blade 2, but I was like, fuck, I want to watch them all in order because I'm kind of
Blade 3 is my
OCD.
favorite of them all.
I will watch it tonight if
All right,
I can find
I'll
it.
watch The Labyrinth if you can watch
Okay.
Blade Trinity.
Deal.
It's called because it's the
Blade
third.
Trinity. Okay.
Yeah. But no, I love the first Blade. Like one of the most iconic, cool shots in any vampire film is the bloodbath club scene.
Yes!
Where that music is hitting. It's like
I love
It's
it.
like Rammstein almost, where it's like do 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 do, and then the
Industrial
blood comes
metal.
down.
I'm a big industrial metal fan, so that
good.
scene was like paradise for me. I was
right?
like, fuck
and then
yeah,
Blade
dude, I want
just
to go
shows
there.
up, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're like, just this is gonna
so
be
good.
great.
So good.
Yeah, the film has a lot of iconic moments, but it's one of those underrated Marvel movies where people don't even know it's Marvel, where it's like,
Good point, actually.
right? It's like this is.
I'm gonna go on a whim here, and it's a judgy comment. It is. I'm judging hard, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say that it didn't get the recognition it deserved because of a lot of bigotry. I'm just gonna say it. I think that's why it wasn't hyped. Because there's a lot of assholes, especially at that time. Again, we weren't a very
majority of the
progressive
people in the
society at that
film
point.
are African Americans.
Yes.
And they're slaying pretty much the white vampires. I'll say that.
Hey, man.
But yeah, I could see that.
All is fair in love and war.
I remember it did pretty good when it came out, but I don't believe it was phenomenal.
It had the younger the younger generation were eating it up like fucking apple
right, because
pie.
we knew that's the thing.
And the older folk were just like, this doesn't make any sense. And it was like, what do you mean it doesn't make any sense?
They're interacting with each other. No, it's
because I heard the whole like vampires wouldn't have pigment, which is again bullshit. They would still have pigment. They would just
that's a racist comment.
Exactly. That's my point. Is I think there were just too many bigots at that time.
A vampire's not gonna bite any African American.
Can't have pigment apparently. But everyone ate up Queen of the Damned. What? I guess if it's a chick, it's okay.
Yeah.
I know.
No. Don't talk. We can't.
Everybody was talking about
kid,
Lestat, and I was like, okay, but can we talk about the Queen for a moment?
Well, that's the thing. I remember I was like 8 years old, walking through a mall. There was a DVD thing that you go through. I saw the cover of Queen of the Damned, and I was like, hey, like this.
Yep.
Whew, we'll get into that because she's on the list.
Goddess.
But yeah.
She's a goddess.
But yeah, Bleed, phenomenal. Again, it's one of those things where what I was gonna say was it's the stigma of horror, which is really weird because it should have done so much better than it did.
Yeah.
But because of the stigma
Mhm.
of vampires, werewolves, zombies, whatever horror-oriented genre it may be, I don't know. It's just
I don't know either.
I always have a gripe with that, where it's like,
Me too.
don't judge horror. Like I hate people that judge it because you don't know, and they're like, oh, it's just meant to scare people. It's evil. I'm like,
It's
have
so
you seen a horror movie?
kick-ass storyline though. It's
Right.
meant to play on your emotions. That is the point, to get in your head and make you feel and think different. That's the point. It's
Right.
fun, you know. And I
You're
get it. A
viewing
lot
it
of
this
people
way.
don't have fun being scared, you know. Like, I guess you weren't exposed to many things in life, so a movie is gonna fuck up your world. But
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't know. I think people are you know, we're getting better.
Well, I make an argument with people, especially with horror, where it's like a sheet of paper. If a sheet of paper is going horizontally like this,
Mhm.
right, and you're sitting next to me, you see it as vertical. It's still a
Right.
piece of paper. It's just your perspective. It's my job to try to get you over here, and it's your job to get me the hell over there, so we can see each other's perspective and make that
Right.
a new perspective, so it's not so pronounced. And you can make that
Right.
argument with anything, whether you're Republican,
Yes.
Democrat, this, that, the pro.
Oh my gosh.
It's a piece
Careful
of paper.
there.
Yeah, I know. It's a.
Where's the lynch mob? I gotta go.
Yeah, no, you just see like a noose slowly come down
Oh
around my
my
neck.
god. It
I was
doesn't
just
matter
like, "Don't
whose
take me-"
side you're on, you're wrong. You know, like
Yeah.
it's just like,
That's the thing. Like you could say God could have an Instagram account. Somebody's gonna post something negative about it. Like it's just adamant to happen. Next is Interview with a Vampire. So you start with this one. I'll let you go because I keep starting. I want you to start.
No, you're good.
Are you sure?
Interview with the Vampire is my hands down absolute favorite. Oh, actually, original favorite maybe. There are two that are like this, and for different reasons. They're different worlds completely, but God, it's so fucking good. And like the whole that movie just went there, you know. And I know it's Anne Rice. I'm a big fan of Anne Rice. Rip.
Yeah. I know.
But, rip. Sorry, was that insensitive? Like,
Yeah,
it's
no.
really not meant to be.
No, it's fine. I
But
just remember in
because
chat, everybody was
she's
like, putting it down
legendary,
to
you
Elias
know.
body, Elias body, and you're like,
But
no, that's not the reason they went. It was
when
Anne
he
Rice.
brought the fucking kid, it was like, oh, this is gonna be a little monster. You know, because they're too young. They don't have that discipline, you know, especially with the emotions. And boy, was that right. Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. I loved
Kirsten
it. And
Dunst
then,
wanting to
and of
feed.
course, you know, I mean, there's a lot of pretty actors in that one,
Yeah,
too.
there were a lot of pretty. I was waiting for that. You got Brad Pitt, freaking Tom Cruise.
You know what?
Christian
He made
Slater.
a better vampire than I thought he would. I gotta be honest. Like, when I heard, like, Brad Pitt was gonna be a vampire, I'm like,
He has
okay,
that
Pretty
very,
Boy's gonna be a vampire.
monotone,
He
like,
did it very
acting. He
good.
did it good,
I
yeah.
liked him more as a vampire than Tom Cruise.
Antonio
But I-
Banderas is in that one too, isn't he?
Antonio Banderas.
Oh my gosh, Antonio
Nailed
Banderas,
it.
Tom Cruise, Christian Slater, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, which I thought it was really cool to have Christian Slater in it. Actually, that was kind of cool. I
Right.
was like, oh, that's good. That's
Like
good.
there's like sprinkles on top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything about that movie is sprinkles and a motherfucking cherry of perfection.
Yeah. I see it as the benchmark. Like a lot of people say, like, hey, watch, obviously Nosferatu, this. I always say, if you want to get into vampires, watch Interview with a Vampire
You have
first, because
to.
it is pretty much a 3-hour film.
Yes.
It starts you off, I believe it was in New York, where Christian Slater is interviewing
Yes.
Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Yeah, Brad Pitt, and he's like, let me tell you my story.
Yep.
And it's laid out very
He's
tastefully,
like, I've
too.
seen it all, I've done it all, so I
Right.
want someone
Like,
to
you
know
could be-
what I know.
You could be a part of any religion. When you start watching this film, nothing's going to offend you. That's the idea. Nothing will offend you during the first 20-ish minutes of this film. It's
I was going to say, like...
Right, that's the thing. It's not going to hit you like an Underworld movie where it's like, boom, somebody's head gets blown off. It's
Right.
supposed to tell you a story, introduce the
Yes.
story, and it lays out the outline. And if you make it to the very end, I promise you, you will be a vampire fan. And that's the beauty of the film. It's this journey
Yes.
you take to understanding. And that's the thing that limits
And
people
that's
in the
it,
horror
because
genre.
when you start off, you see one as, like, this monster, right? Like, there's always
Right.
one villain.
Perspective.
And then he get snapped to near the end of the movie where they make it to Paris, And that's what, if you pay attention, that's where his creator was created.
Yep.
So like immediately you're like, oh shit, he's gonna find him, and then he lures him in like with his charm and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sure as
Look at his
shit,
smile. Look at his
sure
smile.
as shit, dude, like it's like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
So you kind of, even though he's still a monster, Tom Cruise, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
You kind of see why though,
You
because
get
his
it.
was
It's the
so.
morality questioning. We'd all go through that if we were a vampire. We go through it as humans every day, where it's
Well,
like
think
it's
about it,
morality.
though, like doctors and veterinarians, right? They lose people a lot, so they come off as very insensitive because they're not overly empathetic when it comes to the losses. They're like, "Here's the facts," sorry. And people are like, "How can you be like this?" And it's like, I see death fucking all the time. I can't be like that, or else I would end up in an institution.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a survival mode where you're like, okay, in order for me to perform my best as like a human being or a vampire, you cut off that empathy so
But
that
plus,
you
it's the
can just
factor of his
continue.
age too, because he's much older than Brad Pitt.
So much older.
That's the thing. It's like
Like, we don't really know how old he is, actually. I mean, I guess if you read the book, you'd know, but not in the movie. They don't really
they
cover
don't
that.
say it in the movie.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah,
You
you're
know
right.
that he's a lot older, because if you remember, now near the end of the movie, Antonio Banderas says he's the oldest of them. So if there were a leader, it would be him. But you never find out how old Tom
It'd be cool
Cruise
if Antonio was Dracula. Like
kind
there's a
of
hint
was,
at
though,
it.
like the whole
Right?
look and
Yeah.
everything. And how brilliant for them to put on a show where they're literally eating that bitch and people just assume
Yeah.
it's acting. Oh, I loved it.
Genius. It would have been cool though if he dropped like a quick line, like Lucy would have liked you or something, like referring to Lucy from
Oh, that would have
something
been.
like that.
Oh,
Where
I
you're
just got
like,
goosebumps.
yeah, right.
That would
Like
have been
Lucy
so
would have really
nice.
liked you.
Oh
But yeah, classic. Like yeah,
Yes.
I would show my parents. I show anyone that movie, and it's like because it's
Absolutely.
so tame, and that's how you go about horror for people that into creating an understanding for people that need to know about horror. You can't hit them with the hard stuff. You can't hit them with Evil Dead. You can't hit them. You have to hit them with the stuff that will
Yeah.
gracefully merge them into the
I mean,
genre, and then from
yeah.
Interview with a Vampire, take it up. Why not to Bela Lugosi Dracula, and then like move up the tiers. And then do
Yes.
that. If you hit them with it hard, they'll always have the same fascination of like.
It'll be
bashing
too
it
much.
back.
It's like a culture shock. That's not a way
Exactly.
to introduce someone into a culture. You gotta ease them in.
So the next one, I didn't see the second and third one, but From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes.
Did you enjoy that?
It has its entertainment values. I'm not gonna say it's like one of my like hands down favorites.
It doesn't flow
But
like a
it's
vampire.
kind of got
movie.
the cliche rules of horror. Don't
Right.
drink.
Right.
Don't try to like kill people and bash women's heads in because
Don't
eventually
suck
you
on
might
Salma Hayek's
die.
foot when she's dancing. Like
Oh, the foot scene. Ugh, I hate
that's
feet.
Quentin
The feet
Tarantino.
thing kills
Though.
me.
He's got
I
that
couldn't.
fetish.
I love Quentin. He's so. I know, doesn't he though? He really
does.
fucking
No, he
does.
literally
Like if you
legit
notice,
has
there's
it.
always a feet scene.
Beginning of Death Proof. There's the feet on the counter
And
of
then
the car.
when the leg rips off.
Right?
Yeah, so
Pulp
I
Fiction
love
when
that
they're
movie.
dancing, all feet. It's all feet. It's all feet.
Got a feet thing. God damn it.
Inglourious Bastards when the Nazi guy's putting the shoe on the woman. It's like it's all feet.
You're right.
Yeah.
He does have a foot
He
fetish.
does have a fashion.
I'll never view him the same.
Yeah, I enjoy it like same way as I enjoyed like Planet Terror with the girl with the machine gun leg, where it's all popcorn. I'd call it. Where
See,
it's like
was that okay? So did Planet Terror come out before or after Death Proof?
same time. So Robert
Same
Rodriguez
time.
did Planet Terror, and they Quentin Tarantino did Death Proof. They released it as Grindhouse,
Yes,
which they
Grindhouse.
released as a double feature to theaters. So if you wanted to stay for the second film, you could stay. So you only
They
paid
really
price
got
of
a
one
thing
admission.
about ripping a bitch's leg off too, then.
Yeah, it is interesting,
Right?
isn't it?
Like,
And it's cool too if you rewatch it. Some of the actors are in each other's movies.
yes,
They're like
yes,
playing
yes.
the same one. But yeah, popcorn from For Dusk Till Dawn. There's stuff I liked about it. The Salma Hayek dancing
Yeah,
carried on for a bit long, but I get
it
it. The
did.
idea of
It
her
was
being
very
a
dragged
saint,
out.
It was dragged out. The vampires, it was cliche deaths. It's all about killing them. It was all right. George Clooney was in it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I liked his tattoo, his like neck spider.
I know,
or
right?
something
Like,
tattoo.
I'm a villain. I have tattoos.
Right.
I'm a villain.
Next one is going to be interesting. The Lost Boys. What is your opinion?
Okay.
I want you to go first on this.
It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
That's another one that was neck and neck with Interview. Um, okay, so my favorite part of that movie was the fact that the mom started dating that guy because he seems so like, nice and caring and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Caring and understanding, and then
Yep.
he's the fucking lead vampire bitch. It's always the nice one you gotta look out for, really. I think that's the moral of the story, is like everyone's so scared of the bad boys, but
Yeah.
really it's the one who has himself all composed and seems so understanding
The
that.
good guys. Total flip.
But I liked that they kept the classic like garlic thing going, which is hilarious. The kid
Right.
when he wears the garlic necklace, he's like, "What does that smell?"
Oh yeah, Corey Feldman's in
I love
that.
it. Let's see. I don't really know what to say about it. Like, really, I don't have a direction here. It's so good. It's just everything. I like that the comic book kids are the ones that like inform and assist. The
Right.
revenging
It's
the
very
nerds in a way.
Goonies meets
Yes,
vampires. Yep.
yes, and like I'm, grunge punk, so I enjoy the whole like underground, literally
Yep.
like feel of it. So it was good. I liked it a
I
lot.
I don't like it.
See,
I
there's
don't like
always that
Mark
one.
Boyce.
There's
Yeah.
always that
There's
one.
one-
Damn
I
it.
saw the movie looking so forward to it. I always heard the name of
Oh,
it. It was in my head. I put it on. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was very just small, like almost like it was very confined. The only thing I liked was the fucking saxophone scene where it's like, I still believe. The guy's like, it's dark on the beach. He's like, I still believe, and I was like, whoa.
okay, I have a question though, because I have a
Yeah.
feeling that this is why we come into these certain
Well, let
era
me say
of
this real quick.
movies.
The only reason I didn't like it was because it was so confined in terms of like, there's the house, there's the beach, there's the vampire hideout. It's like there's almost no. I wanted it to be bigger, but it just
Well,
wasn't. It was very
well,
confined.
this is where this goes is generational like funding and stuff. So like, how old are you?
I am 31. 30. Sorry, 30.
Really? I'm going to be 34 this year. So maybe that 4-year gap really does make a difference in the taste buds.
Did you just younging me in your head?
I did, I
You just
did,
made me like
because back
22,
then
didn't you? Just
they
to make
didn't
this
have
argument.
like the funding for a lot of things, and creating multiple sets and shit to film. They just kind
I
of had to work
mean,
with what they
same
could.
went for Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like, it's just smaller.
Yes. Did
They,
you know that the Halloween movie? You know how they got the rain?
yes.
It rains. Did you know that water didn't actually show up on film, so they used milk?
No. They used milk? That's disgusting. Why would they do that?
Because it showed up on film.
Did you? Oh my gosh, that is so, like, weird.
They
That's
had a
like old
culture.
school Nosferatu
I
when the
learned that
actors
at
were kicked
Universal
on makeup.
Studios. There's a whole if you ever come to Florida, dude, we're gonna have to meet up and go to Universal Studios because they have the horror show,
Yeah.
and they tell you all the old school tricks for movies and stuff, including, which you'll like a lot. There's the Underworld,
Okay.
where they show you the mechanics to what they made to replicate the the transformation to
Yeah.
werewolf, like how it
Oh,
all comes out in terms.
like
Yeah, they've got it
interview.
all on
What
set.
is
You
it?
get to watch how it works. It's really fucking cool.
Like
Like, I
American
enjoyed
Werewolf
it
in
a lot.
London, the push draw. Where
Yes, it comes all out, and they show you how they did it, and they've even got a werewolf there that comes out, and yeah, it's
Oh,
really
that's
neat.
cool, man. I
Yeah,
gotta
and
go
they
now.
show you all the old school tricks to the movies. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm Boston, so I imagine I'll be down there. I could make it down there within a year or two, definitely.
Let's
That'd be
go.
cool. We could have like a horror night because I've never been to Halloween Horror
Yeah.
Nights either. I've never been. I've only been to Disney World. That's it.
Okay,
Florida,
so
Disney
we'll
World.
have to get the daytime tickets and then the Halloween Horror Night tickets, then, so
But
that you can see
here's
all
the
the
thing.
horror stuff and then
I
do
am
the horror.
very, 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 very uncomfortable around clowns. Like, if I see one, I will leave. I could pay a $500 ticket if you're like, hey, monster, come on, look, this is Halloween Horror Nights. If I see one,
Well,
I am
luckily
turning
for
around.
you, they almost never do Jack 2 years in a row.
Okay.
The last time I saw Jack, instead of like last year, the time before that, I was like 13.
Okay.
So it was literally 20
Okay.
years later that they did Jack again. So I think we're safe on
All right,
Jack.
cool.
There are usually clowns mixed into the scare zones. I will say this though, I used to have
So I
the
can do
biggest phobia
masks.
against clowns.
I can do clown masks. I can't do
Yeah, it's like
painted
your classic
faces.
horror, like,
Yeah, if it's
clown.
like killer clowns from
Not
outer
the
space, I'm
happy
fine.
birthday fucking clowns. Those are the ones that I can't do
Those are the
either.
ones I
The
can't
more
do.
like normal they look, the more I'm like, nope, bye.
Right, because it's like that's not your face. But it's
No,
weird. It's like if
no,
somebody
no.
I knew, if you came onto here with makeup, no, I would end stream because it's you, but it's not.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a
Trust
psychological
me,
thing in there.
basics had to like guide my ass half the night because I don't do clowns either. And Jack decided to pop up a few times, and I got fucked up in that last house because there was the Universal Monsters house,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
didn't dawn on me that Jack would be in there for some reason. Because like, okay, when we first got there, we were in line, like the first or second house, and they're like, Jack's gonna be appearing randomly throughout the park, and I'm like,
You're like, thanks for the anxiety.
you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I'm like, I'm fucked. Because, like, I'm legit scared,
Right.
And, like, I'm like, oh, man, the only thing that fucked me up, man, clowns and dolls. So, like, I go into this house because I already saw Jack. He was at the other house that I was at, and he was honking his shit, the fucking weirdo. So I was like, this is safe. I go through, everything's cool. We've got the Undertaker and everything.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And then suddenly the music kind of changes, and I'm like, and like I did that like no, and I looked at basics, and he was like, and he like pushes me forward. Fucking Jack, he was there. It was everywhere, and I was
my
like,
gosh.
fuck, I gotta get out of here. I was freaking out, man. It was
like
so
that at all.
my little heart couldn't handle it. I was like, I'm ready to go now. I'm fucking done.
Well, anyways, about vampires. Yeah, no, we'll go do something because I want to go to. I saw they have a Universal Monsters Cafe,
Yes, they do.
and I really want to go to that because that's been one of my dreams to go there.
Oh man, wait till you see everything else.
I know. It's just we'll get there. I know.
That's very minuscule. It's like literally like you can get drinks there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really.
I
But the
have
rest
real
is very
quick.
cool.
We have up here this monster museum that you're not allowed to take pictures in. It has every horror character you can imagine, full wax figures to the T. And I'll send you pics, but it's phenomenal. Like, I'll send you pics. You'll see. Like, it has Elvira.
You're gonna want to bring some spending money because there is a shop in Universal where you can buy actual movie memorabilia off the sets from the old horror films.
I'll bring some money.
They
I'm gonna buy
got
his
some
cape,
cool
his
shit
teeth.
that you can get. So they had a few things there the last time, and I was like, oh fuck. Just can we just work out a deal for my soul? Can you?
Yeah. What is debt?
What is that though?
All right, so the next one, we'll do the fun one. So we kind of already talked about it, but Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when this came out, I was really happy. Like, really happy. Because it's, like, the first film you've ever seen which, like, it's geared towards kids, but adults can appreciate it, too. And it happens to be in the horror genre, where it's, like,
Yes.
they literally have voodoo dolls on the head for the head knockers,
I
like, on each of
know.
the doors.
I
And
love
it's, like,
it. There's little shrunken
the
heads.
chef. Yeah, it's so cool. It's, like, a ensemble of everything horror and monster related.
Like,
and,
every little detail was just solid. They did a phenomenal job.
Right.
And
with
like,
each
of
them.
course, again, I love the whole like humans are the fucking monsters. You gotta look out for the
Right,
humans,
they're afraid
man.
of them.
They
It's
can't
almost
handle
like,
shit.
the Munsters with I forget her name, where she's the the Munsters where she's the freak.
Because
Marilyn,
she's the normal looking one.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
like, you're really weird, Marilyn. They eating like
You're like,
brains.
even though you're very unattractive, I'm sure you'll find a man.
Yeah, it's true. Forget it. It's true.
Which I cannot wait for the Rob Zombie Monsters.
I'm excited. He's starting to release
Can't
more
wait.
pictures. I'm getting there. But he won't really. He hasn't released them in like, except for the one where they're looking around in the chair like pose. I want to see like, I don't know, because if we're getting monsters, we're gonna get Dot, which means we're gonna get a realistic looking dragon under the stairs. The pet dragon Dot.
I'm curious how he's going to go about that.
Right, like it's gonna be. I hope he'll do good.
Because he's not big into CGI, so
He'd have to make it practical, but it's like I think
if he's going to go old school, like
Right.
the old school monsters where it's mechanical and latex and details, you know,
Yeah.
like I would
He'll
really
do
enjoy that.
He's a practical guy. He hasn't used CGI in any of his films, I don't think.
No.
The last one is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
That's that one.
Yeah, that's that one. So I
Sorry,
guess
man.
there's one we gotta disagree on, but I
Sorry.
love this film. I think it
Matrix.
just works.
Matrix.
Yeah, I know it came
Matrix.
out. People are doing the Matrix move. I know it was produced by Tim Burton, but I don't know. I think it flows so well. It doesn't. Okay, it's like, and we'll do the zombie episode again later towards the end, so I can introduce other things into it. But it's like Pride and Prejudice for zombies. I really like that movie. Like it's a weird.
I didn't watch the movie. I had the book, but I didn't watch the movie.
It's Pride and Prejudice with zombies. Like that's what this is. It's like
Okay.
I take it as it is, where it's like it's Abraham Lincoln. I was like, all right, vampire hunter. I'm like, okay, it seems so kind of stupid, but I'll watch it. And I watched it, and I'm like, it's exactly what it's saying. It's Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter. But I thought it was well written.
Now there was
plays
a lot of
off-
good quotes throughout the movie. Like I
right,
did
but
enjoy
I like
a
how
lot
it
of the
plays
quotes.
off reality too, where it's like there's a reason he wasn't here at this time in history because he was fighting the vampire. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, stop it. Stop that. Not cool, man.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's just move on to our top 3. Jeez, I'm done.
I'm like fucking crying. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Whatever. All right.
Oh my god. That's
So,
why he wasn't around.
let's do your top 3, please.
Okay. And even though we covered most of them, except for one, shockingly, Interview with a Vampire,
Mm-hmm.
Lost Boys,
Mm-hmm.
and 30 Days of Night. And it got a lot of hate. I understand it got a lot of hate, but it's just I can always watch it again. I'm very entertained by it. I like it.
All right, so mine are Dracula with Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, I figured you were doing that.
Yeah. I like What We Do in the Shadows. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yes, the original, the one with Tiki Wati.
Very
I love it. I love the idea of matching
Very
humor with this. Phenomenal. Then my third is 30 Days a Night because I fucking love that movie.
Hey, high five. See,
So-
there's that one. There's that one.
Yeah, no, that movie is game changing to me on so many
It
levels.
is.
It creates a sense of claustrophobic where it's like they cannot leave.
Doesn't matter where you go.
Period.
dude.
No matter where you go, you have to
Like-
stay here for 30 days of night. And where do vampires thrive? At night.
Right.
And that's it. And it has the best aesthetic I've ever seen for a vampire, except for Bela Lugosi. Don't worry. It's okay. It's the mouth, the blood mouth.
Yes.
Where it's like half
And
of
I
the mouth
know
is
that's
blood.
where a lot of people got mad. Like they were like, "That's so cheesy." I'm like, "What are you talking about? That is such a good twist." Because
And
like
it showcases
I
how
like
they
when
eat.
people
They
go
eat
there.
down.
Yeah.
So this half is going to be clean, and this
Right.
part will be dirty
it's
because the
just-
blood's
yeah.
going. Right.
Yeah.
And that noise they make, the
Yes,
like,
like
to
that's
communicate.
like zombie like. They're so well, and that's it. They weren't over sexualized.
That's not at all.
They were monsters, and people were like, "Excuse me, I didn't see enough tits and ass with this one."
Well, you got Josh Hartnett, which is pretty cool.
Oh my god, he's so pretty.
Right, pretty boy. But yeah, no. They have this.
I love his squinty eyes.
Right, like that. I'm gonna say it, everybody. There wasn't a whole lot I was disappointed about because like they built this fear around these vampires so much that when that old man that had like Alzheimer's that walked out the building, you're like, where the fuck are you going? And he starts yelling, and you're like, they're gonna hear you. Like you start getting that feel that movies
dude.
create.
Yes. Like you're
Um,
hiding with them. Like shit, we gotta make it through
yeah.
this, man.
the only bit, and this is my only critique that disappoints me about this movie because it's mostly something that I wanted to see happen.
Okay.
So you know, at the beginning, when Josh Hartnett's character goes up to that guy with the beard that's in Sons of Anarchy, and he's kind of
Yeah.
grumpy, he's like the outsource
Yes.
of the town or whatever. He has these pet wolves or dogs or whatever, right? And Josh
Yeah.
Hartnett is like, "Hey, quiet boys," and they go quiet and they walk away.
Mhm.
At the end, when Angelica Houston's brother, Danny Houston, the main vampire guy,
Mhm.
bites in, or like a vampire bites into Josh Hartnett's character to change him,
Yeah.
he turns into a fucking werewolf.
Wait. You're saying okay.
That would be cool. It didn't happen. That's what I'm saying. I'd want to happen because he communicated with the dogs at the beginning, and they were barking viciously, and he's like, "Sit, boys," and they just sit.
Okay, but if we go historically, right? Like Dracula, he had wolves as his like protectors, like
Right,
you know,
but the
like
wolves were there before the vampires came. I'm saying, what if I just wanted Josh Hartnett to be a werewolf. I wanted that to be a twist. Like a werewolf
Josh
is about to
Hartnett could have very well became the Dracula of the group, though,
I
because
know,
he
but
could
I just
communicate with
wanted
the
a
wolf.
werewolf and vampire fight. Because he even said like
He
I
does
didn't
make.
fit in my old town or whatever.
Have you seen Penny Dreadful?
Yeah.
He's a fucking werewolf, bro.
Yeah, well, you're just.
You
I know
can
you're
kind
trying
of
to make
live
me
out
happy
your
right
dream
now, but it
because
doesn't change the fact that he was not that in 30 Days a Night.
okay, I see that, but your dream does come true in another sense, and Penny is hot as fuck too.
Okay, so you know
there's
how
that.
Danny Houston's vampire doesn't really speak English? They always do the
Yeah.
subtitles. What if he bit into
Yeah.
his neck and he's like, which is like, you're not like the others. So something like, you know what I'm saying? And he's like,
You're
like,
special.
Woo! All right, I get it. I'm nitpicky. But no, that's my favorite.
I mean, okay, I could kind of like roll with that. It would be kind of weird that a vampire could create a werewolf, though.
Yeah. Well, he's not creating it. He can't change him because he's a werewolf. He's like, your blood is not like the others.
He is insanely loyal till the end, which was a phenomenal werewolf quality. So there is that. It could happen.
He's a werewolf in my head, okay?
Okay, I don't blame you. He made a phenomenal werewolf.
Actually, I'm going to replace What We Do in the Shadows with Underworld. Because I like Underworld a lot. I love the way they did their werewolves, the lichens, like the way they're like on stilts and they're like this huge like thing.
Yeah.
They're cool. Yeah, I'll do that. What is your most underrated vampire film / series?
I'm going to get hell for this one. I know it. Because it's kind of a ripoff of an old vampire movie. Okay. But it being more common day, it was more relatable. And again, I enjoy the acting, was Daybreakers. And it's relevant as fuck, actually, to like today's day and age with the whole pandemic and everything and not being able to find the things you need. That's probably why it's so relevant to me right now.
Did you hear what she said?
Yeah, I know.
Daybreakers.
I know. I told you I was going to get shit.
No, if you like it, you like it. I just remember watching it being like, what? Horse crap?
Huh?
No, I remember watching it being like, what the hell is this? Like, it's.
But now that we've had COVID and shit and can't find certain things, watch it again. Just saying.
So you're saying because of COVID, it's a good movie all of a sudden?
Because we're starting to experience similar things. Now, the whole point of the movie was that they couldn't get blood.
But I'm saying this. You're making a defense right now. I'm saying at the time you saw this movie and you were like, this is a good movie.
It's okay. Yeah, it was okay. But now it's a little bit more irrelevant because now we're living similar situations. And sometimes you gotta experience some shit for it to really affect you. So the idea of them not being able to get blood, and that's what's turning them into these fucking monsters. Because if you have blood, you can still carry yourself like a normal person or a normal vampire. But without it, you go rogue. You it's like rabies. You just, so like it makes sense. And if you watch people, if they can't find their fucking creamer or their, I'm dead ass.
Hey,
or
Mama,
like,
do you have a hard time finding something at your place that we don't know about?
Yes, actually, creamer.
Yeah.
And around the holidays, like for Christmas, I wanted to make Black Forest cake. There was only so much heavy whipping cream you can purchase, and you were only allowed to buy 2 at a time if you did manage to find it. Heavy whipping cream. It's been ridiculous here. We couldn't find chicken legs to make like wings and stuff for a minute. Like we're having some weird shit going on.
What is she talking
about? Pandemic.
Just kidding.
It's affecting the truck drivers, and I can't get my fucking half and half, and I'm about to be a crazy bitch.
Daybreakers is a good movie because I can't find the creamer in my I love your mind.
I feel like, because there's too many levels to this shit. Obviously, I would say Nosferatu, because there's a lot of people that claim to love vampires
means
that don't even
that people
know
should be watching that they couldn't see. Because when we did zombies, which we'll do again, is Fido. Like, nobody hears a Fido.
Yeah, that's
But when you watch it, you'll love it. It's like, if you're like Daybreakers, do you think the people that are going to watch it are going
to be
like...
A lot of people haven't watched Daybreakers, though, but now it'd be scary because we're all living something
I can see
similar.
what you're saying now. Yeah, that's true.
It's relatable.
All right, mine
and it's scary when you can relate to monsters. I think that's why a lot of people don't like the movies.
True. Yeah. True. Mine would be I don't know if you've seen it. If you've seen it, I'm gonna love you till the day I die. Dracula, the TV series on Netflix.
I have not.
Okay, so it's an amazing series that came out 2 years ago. It's basically a guy portraying Bela Lugosi. Like, it's his type Dracula, that look and everything. but
Okay.
it takes place modern time, and
Okay.
I believe it's modern time. Well, they skip through history because like he
More
can't
modern.
age, right? But the cool thing about it is Van Helsing's a woman, and it gets to the point. The series basically
Mm.
ends in London. And if you ever read the book, there's a book called Sherlock Holmes versus Dracula. So
Okay.
I think they're prepping to do a spin-off with Benedict Cumberbatch and his Sherlock with this
Okay, I'm
Dracula
definitely
villain.
watching that. I gotta write these things down. Hold on, I've
It's
got a
really
lot of.
good. If you want to know, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do. What did I recommend you watch? Ooh, you know, Shadow of the Vampire. Get rid of Shadow of the
Yeah.
Vampire, replace it with Dracula.
Okay. Okay.
And just watch the first episode. If you don't dig the first episode, then just watch fucking
I'll
Shadow of the Vampire.
probably watch the whole damn thing. I told you I'm OCD.
It's
My
addicting
dog is
because it's
dreaming.
literally like when you finish it, it does that weird thing that they do with Lucifer, which I don't like, but they do it a little bit where Dracula's almost like buddy buddy with her, trying to solve a mystery at a point on a boat. But
Okay.
it's cool because they do honor to it. Because the whole idea is Van Helsing's trying to convince him you're not like half of the shit you believe about yourself, about you being Dracula, isn't real. And he's like, I can't enter this place without you giving permission. And she's like, walk forward. And he's like, no, I can't. And she's like, walk forward. And it's like, it's these things where it's like, it starts to play on his mind. So she's more
Have
this
you?
Van Helsing that's psychological, where she's
Did
like,
you watch Let Me In?
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list. I know it's on my list. I didn't know which one to
Yes,
watch. It was either the American one or the old school one.
I've seen both.
You tell me which
But
one to watch, and
it's
I'll watch
pretty
it
much
after
the same thing.
Labyrinth.
So just watch the American one.
All
Like
right, I'll watch the
that
American
way
one tonight
it's
and
you get
Labyrinth
both.
tonight.
Yes.
All right, cool.
That one almost made. Actually, you know what? Fuck Daybreakers. Let Me In. Let Me In's taking it.
Yeah.
You'll find out why when you watch it. Ooh. It's okay. It's a slow-paced movie.
Chase is another monster. You just popped in the chat.
Hi.
He's my best friend on the planet, by the way.
Very cool. Oh, hi, Chase. It's a slow-paced movie. It kind of makes it though in a weird way where it's very calm, it's very minuscule. You're probably gonna be like, what the fuck, because you only see like the apartments and then
the only
like
scene I remember
the
seeing
arcade.
in a clip where I was like, interesting, was the pool scene. Like a kid gets dragged underwater and something's happening up here. And then okay.
I don't want to give anything
you know what
away,
I'm talking about.
but it's a very solid vampire movie. They wanted a route with it that I liked a lot, and it's very simple, but it works. It works really well, like really well.
All right, so I'm gonna watch Let Me In and Labyrinth. The Labyrinth.
Yes.
All right, and you need to watch Dracula.
Yes, the
And
series.
if you don't dig that, which you probably will, Shadow of the Vampire, just because it's the lore of Nosferatu, and I know you dig Nosferatu.
I do.
And William Dafoe kills it as Nosferatu because he does that thing, the crate lift. With the
yes,
body. You're like,
love
oh,
it.
Old school.
Okay, perfect.
I will say this though, before we leave. Nosferatu, the only issue I have with it, it's a stickler of the time, but it's the makeup. Yes. I know they had to cake on a lot of makeup, so the actors, like, they can see the actor's face. Yeah. But it's so transparent at the beginning where you're like, holy shit, there's so much stuff on their face right now. But,
well, that kind of plays the role into him not being human. You know? Like, it's so, he's ghostly.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah. True. Well, not Nosferatu.
If you look more normal, we'd have problems.
The doctor guy. The guy, like, just the humans in general. Like, their skin is so wiped out because they're adding
the
so
contrast
much
from the old film. Yeah.
But no.
Yeah.
Nosferatu.
Well, you know what? With that being said, since we're in a time where everybody wants to keep ripping everything off, why hasn't there been a more modernized Nosferatu? Like, why is it Dracula, but no Nosferatu?
Well, Dracula is Nosferatu.
I know, but it's not filmed in that sense. Like the fangs, the whole look with the ear,
well, it's classic because if you do it again, it just looks like an imitation.
Done.
It's like when Vince Vaughn remade Psycho. It's like it's just Psycho. Like
it's pretty much.
It's
Psycho,
such a character.
Right?
It's kind of like asking like somebody to do Jack Sparrow over again. You can't do that. It's like it's so synonymous. Or it's like Dracula, a vampire with fangs, is different from Nosferatu. Nosferatu you see as a deity character.
Even his fangs are weird though. They're like in the front.
Yeah, it's the spacing.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're gonna end for this week. We'll pick up next Tuesday,
Okay.
4 o'clock, same time.
Yeah.
And would you want to do, it's not on the list, but it would coincide with what we're talking with now. Do you want to do werewolves?
We could
It's
do
your
werewolves.
call. What are you thinking?
Give me 2 weeks on that one. That way I could start rewatching movies because it's been a long time since I've seen any werewolf stuff. Like, really. That didn't involve vampires.
Okay, I'm going to read off. Give me 2 seconds. They can probably see me. Ooh, actually, no. Could you go to Discord real quick? The text I sent you?
Okay, let's see.
They just saw all my private information, I think.
Oh, no. Whoopsie.
Here's my social.
All right,
so which
gore,
one of those
torture,
would you want to
horror,
do next week?
thrillers. What do you mean by torture? Like Saw?
Yeah, I didn't want to write porn, but basically torture porn. Like Saw, Hostel,
So that would
1,000
be
Ways to
snuff
Die.
films.
Anything that has to do with torture. Maybe old school like Grindhouse.
I do love me some Grindhouse. Found footage. Oh Lord, here we go again with the fucking Blair Witch Project.
I'm sorry.
Son
We
of a
gotta
bitch.
see. The thing is, I'm gonna write in clowns. It's like we gotta cover everything, whether we like it or not.
Dude, I'm not rewatching most of those clown movies.
I'm not
so
rewatching any clown movies. I'm just writing down the ones I know. So we're good. We'll just write down the ones we know. Are you kidding me? It's gonna be
It's gonna be a short episode of like, fuck that, fuck this.
The only clown movie I like is Crazy Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That's my favorite.
The only clown I like is Captain Spaulding.
Yeah, well, you beat me there too. I love him.
Love him.
So which
What's
one
the matter, kid? All right.
Do
Psychological horror. Would that be like
Silence of the Lambs?
Fuck. There's so many good options here.
We're gonna be doing all of them. You just pick them up.
I know. Okay, so maybe so like
one that you think like you'd be excited for next week.
Since Scream just released and it is killing it, why don't we cover slashers?
Yo, that's gonna be a long
Keep it
episode because that
relevant.
means we doing Friday the 13th. We're gonna be doing Nightmare on Elm Street. All right, yeah, and I'll have my Freddy stuff in. And let's do a slasher episode.
Perfect.
Yo, all right.
Let's go.
All right, everybody. Well, my name is Monster King, and this is
Mama Tax.
And we will see you next week where we're going to be reviewing slasher films.
Yeah.